Thanks, Rick. Just a little recap of Saturday's game. Tough one for the Bears. You can't ever come out and start a championship game against the number one team in the country the way we started the football game. When you spot them 21 points, you're trying to scratch back the whole entire time. Made it competitive a little bit before halftime, and then after half, the game obviously got away from us. Again, you talk about program building and kind of some truths that we all see about where we're at compared to programs such as a number one North Dakota State, and we've still got a lot of work to do. Obviously, we didn't play our best game, which is discouraging because we had a good week of practice. If you would have asked me on Thursday or Friday or even pregame when I talked to Corey for the radio, we certainly expected to have a better showing than that, but we didn't get it done, and such is life. And we talked to the team on Sunday about, guys, sometimes in your life things don't go perfectly how you plan. Sometimes you're not, the Cinderella of the ball. How you handle adversity and the type of man you are when things don't go exactly how you planned is what you should be measured by.
You're talking about roster building and program building and everything. I heard you talk about just seeing the millions of dollars in facilities and then seeing what they've been able to establish there, those offense, defensive lines and everything. Just what you learned the most from going back and watching this to get where you want to be?
Yeah, Wyatt, I think it was good for everybody involved on the trip to kind of see what it takes. All you have to do is open your eyes and look around their campus. It looks like the Tennessee Titans. One thing that they've done a good job of is they still recruit high school players. They still develop them within their program, and that has, in my opinion, all to do with the way you feed your student athletes, the way you're able to bring them up and build them within your program. That takes a lot. It takes a lot, financially. It takes a lot in regards to just the infrastructure that you need to put around your student athletes in order to be successful at such a high level. And they've done a good job of that. And, don't get me wrong, that's a really, really good football team. They took Colorado to the ropes. Probably should have won that game. You put them in most G5 conferences, and they're still as competitive as ever. So I take nothing away from their staff, their players, because they showed up and we didn't.
So what can make the difference? Because you got the other state school coming in this week for your home finale.
Yeah, I think you have to start fast against that team because, Coach Jimmy Rogers and those guys have an unbelievable football team. They're built the same way. Both of those programs are super similar in regards to their infrastructure, their amount of success, the players that they have in their program, and kind of how they win football games. So obviously, start with defense. We're going to have to do a better job of making sure they can't just run the ball as much as they want. And then, the one thing that you saw defensively in the game is that it wasn't, there were 2 or 3 plays that got loose out of position, but we were around the football to make plays. You got to make your one-on-ones. You got to win one-on-one battles. And then offensively, they found a way to get us out of rhythm. We don't normally put the ball on the ground very much at all. That happened, and that was uncharacteristic of us. So we just got to get back to who we are, get back to, understanding why we've won football games. Because, again, at the end of the day, we know that we're up against a tall task, but if we can put our best foot forward, I think we'll give ourselves a chance on Saturday.
What are some of those infrastructure things that you're touching on? Because you are moving up to that G5 level. You want to be a championship program like North Dakota State probably could be at that level. Just when you take a look around, I know you used it as motivation this week, but now it's just like you can probably look at that and be like, I wish we had that. I hope Ransdell saw what they have. So
sure.
Get that going forward.
And we do a good job of focusing on what we do have and taking advantage of those things. But you have to have infrastructure. You have to have football-only spaces. You have to have a meeting room that's for your football players. You have to, make sure that you have things set up for your football team that they feel as if they're Division I as well. Not D3 and AI. It needs to look and feel like a D1 program, and I hope that the community and everyone involved will wrap their arms around that if you want to have the level of success that I think we can have here, because the city's built for it. The university is a beautiful campus. There's great people in the roles that need to be there. It's just a matter of starting to get those things in place and starting to get moving because, again, it does make a difference. Now, did their facilities have anything to do with the actual football game itself? Absolutely not. That's on us. That's on me as the head football coach. Obviously, we were not playing to the best of our ability, and the buck stops with me.
when you see some of the play, kind of defensively, when you see, I don't know, you and I had a lot of success just kind of pushing guys, winning the line of scrimmage. You saw North Dakota State get that as well. Just what are you seeing along those fronts to where, you are looking at roster building for these future years, trying to be competitive when North Dakota State's as good as it gets at this level?
We've talked about this even when we made the move to FBS. That's where you win, is up front. We've got to get bigger, faster, stronger at really every position that you saw. And I think that had a lot to do with the game, because if you can handle the other team on both sides of the lines of scrimmage, that's where you win the football game. And again, as you could tell, we were a little bit of a disadvantage there. We got to continue to grow in that regard and continue to push the recruiting process to get kind of where we want to go in regards to the frames and how we look, and continue to get good people in this program that want to be Bears.
What'd you like? Anything going back and saying you did a good job there?
Yeah, I mean, I liked the way that we were able to fight back at times. I don't think anyone quit. We did a good job of evaluating the film and making sure, because that was the one thing that I looked at the most, is who stayed competitive, who stayed in the fight, and who bowed out. We didn't have much of that, which was good. I liked in the locker room after the game, they were discouraged because, no one was like, oh, we stink. We weren't even giving ourselves a chance. We know who we are, and that's the frustrating part when you're a player, is that if you have a bad day, and it was a bad day to have a bad day.
One of the guys that I'm sure wanted to finish that game but couldn't was Armand Wallace. How was he?
I'm not super confident in that knee. I'm not sure exactly what the MRI will show, and obviously you saw PJ wasn't able to go, so both starting safeties down. We're trying to mix and match some things schematically to try to get some better run fits and try to be a little bit more aggressive at times. But when those things happen, you've got to be in the right spot, and you've got to make your one-on-ones, because that's what you turn it into. You make it into one-on-one battles. So hopefully, I hope Armand gets a good report.
Looking at Saturday's game coming up with South Dakota State, you look back at the Ball State after that game, and you turn and started that winning streak. Can you look back at that and kind of touch on things you did that week to turn these things back around?
Sure. I'd like to think that there should be some carryover. Again, everyone knows the reason you play the game. Anything can happen. We're still in the hunt. With going into the last game, you still have a chance to have a share of the conference championship in the best conference in FCS. I think that's a pretty solid year that these guys put together. I think that's motivation in itself, as well as hitting on just how special the senior class is and how much they've been through. You're about to talk to some guys that have been here longer than me, through the Coach Bobby Petrino era, through the era we're in right now. Those guys deserve a lot of credit. They deserve the city to come out and support them and show them how much they care and appreciate, because I don't think if you would have asked those guys when they signed up to come to Missouri State if they thought that they would be playing South Dakota State for a share of the conference championship on their senior day.
Yeah, I know Wyatt and I remarked about it over the weekend, but how far has this program come, and how far does it still have to go? But how much closer are you to getting to the goal?
Yeah, I think we've come light years. I mean, when we first came here with head coach Bobby Petrino, he was the start of it, and it's light years. When you sit here and you think about success or how you think the season went, guys, we haven't won 8 games since 60s. I mean, it's 2024, right? That's a long time. So I think we've come a tremendously long way. But I think, Saturday was a good view for everybody of kind of what it takes to have sustained national championship level success. And that's a lot. And again, I think it showed in every single aspect. But I think that's encouraging. I think if you were maxed out somewhere, it wouldn't be as exciting for your future, and it wouldn't be as exciting to talk to recruits and their families on exactly where we can go. Look at what we're about to build. Look at what we're about to put, around your student athlete to make him successful, and you can do everything you want here at Missouri State, because, you don't often hear us talk about those types of things, because why would you dwell on things you have no control over? We control what we can control, and that's getting the best people possible in this program. And it's about our players. The guys in this seat, whether it's, Steck, Petrino, Ryan Beard, the players deserve the credit for where we're at right now. They've put their hearts and minds into, what we're trying to build here, and They play on the field, we don't. So I want to make sure that that's the focal point of the turnaround and the focal point of why we are where we are. It's because of the men in that locker room.
Ryan, kind of following up a little bit on that, you're closing this season arguably playing against probably the two best teams at this
Sure.
level, and you know where you're going to open next year. I know you don't look beyond this week, but is there a bookending process to the staff maybe about how we're ending one year and what we expect to start the next year like?
No, not really. And I say that so confidently because every 6 months now in our game is so different. You know, who stays on the roster, who goes into the portal, who we can attract from the portal or high school levels. I really think that the true bookending is just that season's over. Now it's time to start, having exit meetings and seeing who's going to be a part of this next football roster, and just go from there. I think it's too hard right now to look too far ahead, just because you've got, so many worries of today. It's hard to worry about tomorrow's. So again, we as a staff we talk about it all the time, be where your feet are, control the right now, and then worry about those things as they come.
Coach, the Jacks are pretty good too, aren't they?
Yeah, they're.
So just what have you seen in them? Because this is a team that went toe-to-toe with North Dakota State just a few weeks ago. Is going to be in that national championship conversation too.
Yeah, what a game that was. I actually watched that one over the Georgia game, and it was one of the hardest-hitting, most physical football games I've actually ever watched. Those guys got after each other. Again, they play for the Rock, and that was a pretty cool game to watch. Again, they've been rolling for years, and again, that is the standard of the Missouri Valley Conference. Those two teams that, just playing North Dakota State and then playing South Dakota State this week. Elite quarterback play, great O-line, great D-line. I think their defense is better than last year, if that's even possible. They fly around, they make plays. They're really, really good at what they do structurally. And then on the offensive side of the ball, again, they always reload with running backs. They've got a great running back core, some good wideouts. So we've certainly got our hands full again this week.
Coach, philosophy-wise, right? I'm not sure if you saw it, but last week, UNI's coach came out and said he's going to retire because he's tired of the grind and what athletics has turned into the business. So there is, of course, an age difference with you two, but how and why do you embrace the new grind that college athletics has become?
Yeah, I love being around student athletes. I love football, and this is the job for me. I think that you adapt or die in this business, and we're going to choose to adapt and continue to grow. And again, until I wake up in the morning and I don't love coming to work and I don't like being around these guys, that's when I'll know it's time. Hats off to Coach Farley for knowing that his time is up, because you spend so much time at the office and you put so much of yourself into, trying to lead a program. If you're not feeling it, that's when in my opinion, that's when you know it's time. When you wake up and you're like, man, I don't really want to go into work today. Lucky for me, I can't wait to get to the office and see these guys' smiling faces. And the one thing about it is just like life. Every day is not perfect. You're not going to be, coughing rainbows and, handing out Skittles every day. There's tough days, but to me, that helps the bond. That helps create cohesiveness and a culture that revolves around, hey, guys, whether we're having a good or a bad day, you're going to be treated fairly and loved and pushed to be your best self.
So you don't plan on retiring anytime soon?
No, sir.
Did you shave your beard after the loss?
I did, and that I knew that was going to come up. But it was one of the things we did for the older guys, because they were like, Coach, man, you had it in the playoff run. You got to start growing it. And I said, when we start winning, the beard will come back. Now, I don't know if I'm going to do it in the years coming, because I have a feeling we're going to have, more success. And I don't know if I love rocking the beard constantly. But, no, it was a fun thing to do with the guys. I am very superstitious, so that came off. Probably change up the sideline attire this week. Fresh start. Again, like I told the guys, everything about your character, everything about who you are as a man needs to shine through this week, because we got beat down. It's time to see if we can't get back up and fight.
If you win this week, you gotta keep the beard until USC next year.
No way. No way. Now I might be able to find some help around town of guys to keep a little bit more manicured than I probably had it. But no, I'm excited about this week. I'm excited about senior day. And I really, really do hope that the community comes out and the students come out and support these guys, because the credit falls there. And the guys you're about to talk to and what they've went through, again, we just sit at the head of the table. Those guys are what make us go.